Yo guys, what is up? Sorry for being a little bit late today. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat. Everything should be working perfectly fine. We're back with another live stream. It's been a while since we've been back on YouTube, but good and happy to be back as always. Let's see, how is everybody doing? First of all, let's start with that. How's everybody doing, guys? Everybody good? Good to see you all again. Yeah, fantastic, guys. No, I'm doing good myself as well. Extremely happy to hear all of you once again. What's up, Jordan? Hope you're doing good. GU, EU, NAS, Gold. Yes, guys, we're going to go over everything today as always in the streams. Now, before we dive in, make sure to leave a like on the stream right over here, and then we're going to dive straight in. I'm going to give you guys a general market update. We're going to dive pretty much into all the pairs that we obviously discuss on a daily basis, because we've been seeing quite some movements across the board now this morning. So let's dive in and yeah, see how everything is going. Okay, so let's start off, obviously, as always, asking where is everybody tuning in from today. As always, super interested to hear where you are from. That for me is always important. Super curious to hear where everybody is tuning in from. And then we're going to dive in and see what has been what's been happening. So I'm going to start off with, let's see, reading out loud where everybody is tuning in from. Pakistan. Obviously, I'm here in the Netherlands, guys, as you all know. South Africa, Rwanda, Australia, United Kingdom, Poland, US, India, Zimbabwe. Fantastic. Barbados. Wow, we are, as always, international, guys. Morocco, Algeria, India, GU. Portugal, Philippines, Bangladesh, Jamaica, Damsko, Amsterdam in the building as always. Fantastic. Okay, guys, I'm gonna dive in and see what everything is doing. So obviously EURUSD has been selling off as of today, in towards the downside, in line with the overall 4-hour fractal structure. Now I've highlighted in my overall outlook and the overall market updates that I've been giving and providing, that EURUSD is not necessarily my favorite pair. I prefer, to be very honest, GBPUSD, mainly because, number one, the pound is more bearish than the euro, in my opinion, from a fundamental perspective, but also from a technical perspective, GBPUSD looks better. Now, EURUSD, guys, first of all, where are we currently trading? Well, obviously, looking at EURUSD from an overall daily time frame perspective, there are two things. So EURUSD, first of all, is still swing bullish. And if we zoom out, then we can obviously see that the overall trend is bullish in towards the highs, where we had an impulse up, we had a retracement down, we had an impulse up, we had a retracement down, and then we had an overall impulse up. And now we're seeing the potential, what could be the start of an overall impulse in towards the downside, right? Now, looking here at the daily time frame, there's two things. First of all, we are still daily fractal bullish. So this is current fractal low, this is current fractal high. And number two, we are swing bullish as well. Now, obviously, when looking for a potential short position, where do you want to be looking for shorts from? You want to be looking for shorts from premium. That's number one. Now, obviously, the market here is trading at a premium on the daily time frame, right? So if we look at this from the swing structure perspective, this is the breaker structure here. We're trading inside premium, so yes, shorts do make sense. However, for shorts, preferably you would always want to see daily bearish fractal structure. Now the current fractal low is positioned over here with the fractal high here. So we're still a little bit too bullish from a daily perspective, but if we draw in a Fibonacci retracement tool here on the daily fractal structure, then obviously you're trading inside premium. So yes, shorts are definitely then still possible. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, the 4-hour fractal is bearish as well, with the overall order flow holding in towards the downside. We can clearly see here that the overall supply chain is in control, with this being supply, this being supply, this here being supply, and then again this here being supply. Now on the 1-hour time frame, I highlighted this morning. We then look inside the 4-hour order flow. We look at the 1-hour market structure, swing high, swing low, break of structure. This is your internal high, which is acting as liquidity. We take out that liquidity high, and then you wait for what? You wait for the change of character. Now what happened here is change of character high, boom, then here around 12 o'clock today, we broke the overall fractal low in towards the downside, hinting that this is then your supply zone. So if you're then looking for those short positions, you could say, okay, here we made the connection with the 1 hour supply zone. The 1 hour supply zone here is then confirmed to push the market down lower by providing us here with the 1 hour fractal low break. So then if you look at that supply zone here, you could have potentially taken an entry over here, right, with this as your supply zone, with your stop loss above this high, targeting around the 1 to 2 risk to reward. That is a potential setup that you could take, and then obviously kind of like targeting, let's say, this low over here, because this is kind of like, again, the next fresh area of demand. So this is a potential setup that you could then take, and then looking at it now, obviously it is, well, it tagged you in then around 1 o'clock. And now it's currently pushing in towards the downside. Now this is currently a position that I'm not in because I'm not favoring a EURUSD short position over GBPUSD shorts. I definitely prefer GBPUSD, not to mention that EURUSD, it's not like it's a wrong setup, but there's just a higher conviction play in my opinion on pound dollar if you are looking to buy the US dollar. Now GBPUSD guys, here on the 4 hour time frame, first of all, let's start on the daily. So looking at this from a daily perspective, what you can see here on the daily time frame is that if we zoom out real quick, the market has come into an overall swing high, okay? So here we have a swing high. This swing high is where liquidity lies, and this swing high is a little bit more clear on the weekly time frame. You can see here very clearly that on the weekly time frame, we have kind of like this overall impulse down, and there are bumps in the road, right? So here we kind of have like the first one, here we have kind of like the second one, here we had another one, here we had another one. And every single time you come above that bump in the road, the market tends to slow down to a certain extent, right? So again, here as well, we're coming above that high and the market is slowing down. So this is like liquidity concept. So when the market then takes out that high, obviously you want to be looking for a potential short position. So then you go into the daily time frame, and then what do you see here? Okay, the daily time frame is still bullish, right? So here the break of structure, then swing low, swing high. Now everything inside premium is pretty much a good potential sell-off. Now what you have here on the daily time frame is a fractal break, confirming that there's potential for some further downside, because this overall kind of like impulse in towards the highs happened from nothing. Like people would call this maybe like a fair value gap that pushed the market up higher. I personally don't trade those fair value gaps. I will always look for the market to make a connection with something called a sell for a big buy up. So here we have a fresh demand zone, and here we had the fractal breakdown. The market then retraces back up higher. The market retraces in towards where? Exactly in towards 0.5 fib. And then from that 0.5 fib, the market heads back down lower again towards our target of this area of demand. So GBPUSD was definitely the position to be in. I also have some GBPUSD sells running, and I'll be looking for GU to head down lower. Again, very nice, kind of like it takes out the weekly liquidity high, which is that blue dotted line. We get the initial kind of like sell-off. The market comes back, takes out and fakes out on that high, and then the real sell-off occurred. So very interesting kind of like piece of manipulation, which is good to monitor what's going on here on the 4 hour time frame. So again, Confluences for GBPUSD shorts. Obviously, here we have a so-called 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, which is the ascending channel in towards that weekly liquidity high. Then I have the daily bearish change of character, and then obviously within that daily bearish change of character, I identify that there's potential for it to push down lower in towards this fresh daily demand zone. I then look at the 4 hour time frame, and on the 4 hour time frame, there is a retracement in towards the overall buy for the sell down, tap in over there, going towards the 1 hour time frame, and then on the 1 hour time frame here, last week on the London session, this here was then your area of supply from where you want to be selling, and then pretty much you want to be getting into the market from around over there to target, well, you can see you already hit a 1 to 2 risk to reward, but eventually kind of like what could be a target of that daily area of demand over at the lows. If you miss that initial entry, obviously this one over here, then you could wait for the market to retrace again. Well, then this is kind of like your supply zone over here. This morning I was actually waiting for this high of yesterday to get taken out and then get in on the short with the fractal low break over here. Sadly, it did not liquidate. That is very sad to see. So I kind of like didn't get an entry this morning. But then, yeah, again, that over entry over there was the best one in my opinion. And on the 15-minute time frame, obviously here, there was also some nice price action with pretty much this high being swept. So a lot of traders, again, and a good lesson for you guys to take here is this supply zone over here is kind of like a fake supply zone. Reason number one, we have the descending highs right above it. Reason number two, there's no liquidity in the overall push down. So the market comes in, initial sellers get in, and then what you see happening is obviously we take out the highs, and then here you had like the 15-minute change of character break. And then, yeah, you can enter on the low break. Obviously, again, if you put this as supply, you would have had no tag. But yeah, that's kind of like the beauty of sometimes just trading the overall fractal low break. So yeah, nice price action from GBPUSD, and I'll be looking for further sells on GU in towards that daily demand zone, with the overall bias on the pound being bearish, more bearish than EURUSD in my opinion. That's why I was favoring the overall sells on GU. I see some questions. How about a bullish GBPUSD on the weekly order flow? We tapped the fresh demand, where on EURUSD we lack connection. Correct. That is very correct. So what you are referring to, guys, or what Fuzi is referring to here, is that on GBPUSD, if you look at the weekly time frame, you indeed made a connection with the overall sell for the buy here already. That is very true. But again, like the thing is that there's more confluence on the overall entry time frame. So on EURUSD, you have to indeed make a connection, theoretically speaking, with this overall weekly area of demand. But on EU, we have seen in the past, for example, over here as well, that the connection doesn't necessarily have to be made. So that connection is not always made on Euro. Same was over here, for example, where there was no connection made, and that the overall momentum was just too bearish. Now the overall momentum could potentially be, again, too bullish. Same happened over here in the past as well, where you have the entire sub for the buy, and then eventually there's no connection made. So that weekly connection is important in the sense that it really enhances the overall confluence of the position. But again, I'm not trading the weekly, I'm trading the daily and the 4 hour. So therefore I'll stick to those as kind of like my main overall confluences to take those trades. AUD/USD next. So guys, what's everybody looking for in AUD/USD? Let's have a look. What is everybody looking for in AUD/USD, guys? So myself on AUD/USD, more interested in buys than in sells, despite the fact that at the moment we have gotten a daily area of supply. So we have supply over here situated, right? So again, the thing with AUD/USD is that it's so choppy, man. Like in the sense that it just chops. If I look at where the market is coming from, it's coming from this buy before the sell here that is acting as supply. So yes, indeed, there is actually some supply that is pushing the market down lower. This supply over here caused a what? It caused a daily change of character to take place. So we saw a daily change of character thanks to that area of supply. So there is actually something pushing the market down lower. Overall, I have to again say it's a very messy pair, but I am favoring overall downside in the sense from a technical perspective. From a fundamental perspective, I don't really fully agree with the overall position of like taking a short, but technically, like obviously, like we're trading at a daily premium. If we look at daily swing structure, sorry for me glitching a bit, but again, we're trading at a premium. We have descending corrective price action. We've tapped into a daily supply zone. We have the daily change of character, which is ultimately the bearish confirmation. So yes, from that perspective, the sells make sense. However, there was a big surprise fundamentally that Australia did not cut interest rates, causing the overall push up higher on the Australian dollar. Now, we're back inside this supply zone from a 4 hour perspective. I'll be keeping an eye on what the 1 hour does here. For now, the 1 hour is consolidating. You can see that a GBPUSD is heading down lower very aggressively, whereas an AUD/USD is not. This is purely fundamental. So again, last night, what happened, if you're not aware, the Australian Central Bank decided not to cut interest rates. So what does it mean when you cut rates, guys? It means, and sorry for my hideous handwriting, so let's say you cut rates and the interest rates go down from 3% to, let's say, 2.75%. It means that you get 0.25% less of a return on your money invested. So therefore people put less money into that certain currency, and that causes the overall depreciation due to the fact that there's just less demand, because obviously what drives the market is supply and demand. So that is currently causing there to be demand for the Australian dollar, and yeah, the Australian dollar is catching a bid in that sense, but I'll be keeping an eye open. But for me, I'll be waiting for a little bit more confirmation here. I would prefer to see kind of like another spike up, and then like a real V-shaped reversal, kind of like on the fake out, give us the 1 hour change of character. Or from here, we need to start selling off aggressively, break the current fractal low, and then we look for shorts. But from here, I'm not going to be shorting AUD/USD. I see some questions about GSwiss. Avalanche, guys, if you're not aware, we have a new market update channel inside Discord, so make sure to be there. He dropped an outlook on GBPUSD, if I'm not mistaken. He dropped the potential for a short position. Let me see. He had a short position breakdown. I'm not going to read the whole text. It's a very long one. I can't get my Discord open on this screen at the moment. But overall, let me see. He was looking at shorts on the 4 hour time frame. So there was a nice setup. Let me see. Yeah, so there was a nice setup here. Again, guys, from a daily perspective, obviously the momentum is in towards the downside on GSwiss. We can clearly see overall momentum is downwards trending. We really shifted from that recovery modus that we saw when, let's say, the risk on buys kind of like start to confirm after that tariff situation from April into May. We saw that GSwiss was pushing up higher. Well, then obviously the momentum kind of like faded. Here we had strong momentum after the break of structure. Here we kind of like just grabbed liquidity and then started selling off. So overall here, supply zone in control. Here, supply zone in control. More specifically, this one over here. Again, momentum very high. Daily time frame wise, looking for sells with the daily fractal structure, daily momentum being bearish. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, also the 4 hour is extremely bearish. Obviously here we have some supply inside this buy before the sell. Again, on this buy candle, a lot of people stepping into the markets and then boom, strong sell off. For me, this is a clear area of supply. Initial reaction, because look, there's no liquidity in the push down, so the initial reaction gets liquidated. That's obviously what you always want to see, and now yeah, looking for this to further sell off. So yeah, looking for further sells from GSwiss, and this is kind of like already like a 1 to 1.36, not the obviously the optimal risk reward, but a 1 to 2 risk reward that you could be taking. Now obviously we have the gold fanboys back in the chat. Thanks guys. There's really no reason to spam the chat because I'll discuss it anyway, but thank you for ruining the chat as always. We'll go into gold. For gold, I'm looking for more upside. I've been looking at the futures chart more and more. I know a lot of you don't, but it's always good to kind of like have a look at what the futures chart is doing. Here again on the weekly time frame, I'm going to start from the weekly, break it down lower to the entry. Overall, weekly time frame is fractal bullish. So this is the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame made a retracement in towards 0.5 and in towards the overall sub for the buy. Again, guys, this is a perfect example of how you can very simply said trade the overall higher time frame narrative. Enter on top of the 0.5 with stops on the fractal low and TP on the fractal high for a clean 1-to-1. Now, obviously, a lot of you don't want to enter on the weekly because you want to make money tomorrow and not in a month time. So looking here at the daily time frame, first of all, we can clearly again see that the weekly time frame, or excuse me, the daily time frame is also bullish. Here we have a swing low, here we have a swing high. So overall, we are bullish. Again, on the daily time frame as well, we made a 0.5 fib retracement. This for me is the impulsive phase. This for me is the corrective. Let me get the right. Yeah, so this for me here is the corrective phase. And now again, we are in the current impulsive phase. So I'm interested for buy opportunities. Looking at the overall sell for the buy here. This is a sell for the buy. More specifically, you could refine it to like this sell for the buy candle over here. Then right above that demand zone, you have kind of like a liquidity low. Here, liquidity, demand, 0.5 fib, market retraces in towards that, takes the liquidity low, takes the demand, then V-shaped reversal up, causing the daily fractal break. So now from a daily time frame perspective, we are bullish. There is still some potential for it on the daily time frame to retrace a little bit lower. Does it need to? Not necessarily. I don't know why the daily candle looks so different from the 4-hour, because on the 4-hour we did already retrace. Is there something? I don't know. I'm not sure why, because it should retrace to the 0.5. It seems that the daily candle is a little bit off, or I'm just a little bit drunk. No, the daily candle is really off. So overall, the market here on the 4-hour time frame, let me see. Yeah, so overall the market on the 4-hour time frame here, V-shaped reversal, buy back up, 4-hour demand zone. Market comes into that demand zone, V-shaped reversal up, fractal break, obviously not the strongest, but it is a fractal break. And now overall, again here on the 4-hour fractal, the market is now retracing, or has retraced into 0.5 fib. Market has found to what seems to be support, and now I'll be looking for further upside. So now I'm looking at the lower time frame being the 1-hour time frame, being the 30-minute time frame, whatever, for the market to catch a bid and to push up higher. So I'll be looking for further longs in towards the highs. Fabio tweaking, yes. So yeah, no, looking at the next buy up. At the moment, the fractals aren't really playing along. A lot of manipulation here on the lower time frame being the 15. You can see we're taking highs, we're taking lows. Overall, I'll be monitoring the 1-hour time frame for now. Let's see if we can get some cleaner price action, because today's price action on gold is not the cleanest on the 1-hour time frame. But I'll be looking to see how this 1-hour candle closes, and then see if we can potentially buy the overall breakout back in towards the highs to establish a new higher high. So I'll be looking at something like this, guys, depending on how the 1-hour candle closes. So yeah, looking for some buys on gold. So that's gold. Let's see how that plays out. Hubert, Fabio, how many trades do you take in a month? I would say around 2 trades a week, something like that. So around 8 to 9 a month, 8 to 10 a month, something like that. Euro AUD thoughts. I don't really trade Euro AUD, to be honest. I don't really have a fundamental thought on it. I think the euro is relatively bullish still. The worst for the euro has kind of been. Remember, we've analyzed this 2 weeks ago on the daily stream or on the weekly stream over here. I remember explaining this over a long position when the market was trading, I think, over here. Eventually, still keeping everybody in. It's eventually pushed back up higher into TP after consolidating for quite a while. Euro AUD, obviously it makes sense to continue to look for longs. A lot of bearish pressure at the moment due to a strong Australian dollar. Obviously the reason for the strong Australian dollar I've already explained to you guys, but for now I would wait with trading Euro AUD, because there's no data this week to kind of turn the bias around for the euro. And this morning some weak euro data came out. So if you want to trade euro, I would trade Euro USD, but I'm not really looking to catch the bottom here yet. If you do want to look for longs on Euro AUD, you would need to wait for some bullish momentum to kick in, because at the moment there is no bullish momentum here on Euro AUD. Let's see. So what is the difference between regular gold and futures gold? So futures is the regulated market, and the normal gold that you guys know as XAUUSD. This is just a broker data feed, so it differs per broker what the actual data looks like. So sometimes a low can be taken and sometimes not. So if you really want the centralized gold data, then you need to go to MGC1. That's this. Yeah, it's been working pretty well for myself. I've been scalping on MGC1. I also did that in London when I was at Alpha Prime last week, and that did me pretty well. USD Swiss continues to push higher with the strong dollar today. Obviously, you need to think what has happened. I kind of broke this down this morning, so I'm not too surprised that this is happening, to be very honest. You can see here at 9 a.m. What happened is that the market overall pushed in towards where, guys? In towards the overall sell before the buy. So we have sell before the big buy up. Again, this morning fractal low was positioned over here, fractal high was positioned over here, market retraced into where? Into the 0.5 fib and in towards the overall sell before the buy. This is also the daily candle. I think, no, it's not, it's the 4-hour candle only, the 4-hour sell before the buy. But yeah, regardless, we tapped into 0.5 fib in towards that sell before the buy up, and for now the order flow is holding. So again, it doesn't really make sense to sell the dollar, and therefore it doesn't make any sense at all to buy what's it called? To buy Euro USD just yet. In my opinion, I'll be looking at mainly this 4-hour zone over here. And I'll be looking at this gap over here. So 98,349. Once that gets hit, that is kind of like when I would be a little bit more aggressive with selling the dollar again. I think this is kind of like, if you want to sell the dollar, this is like a potential position that you could be looking at to just sell like this. So this sell could then mean that you could look at, for example, a Euro USD buy, because if the dollar dumps that deep, then Euro USD will be trading like here, which is the weekly demand. So if you then want to trade it, you could trade something like this on Euro USD, in my opinion. Something like this, like, yeah, pretty much like this. Again, I know you guys don't like trading the weekly, but you can then dumb this down to a lower time frame setup, right? So then what you wait for is the 4-hour time frame to flip fractal bullish here, or the 1-hour fractal to flip bullish. That's kind of like a position that you could then be looking at. So that's what I'm having a look at on the dollar at the moment. I don't think it's ready yet. But then again, let's say we tap into this supply zone over here, and then the market, for example, starts breaking the fractal low. Then obviously we can look for sales. Guys, by the way, we only have 113 likes on this stream, man. Come on. We need at least 200 likes. We have 377 people watching. I would appreciate if you guys can leave a like. Really. These are just not enough likes. In the meantime, again, guys, if you're not inside Discord, you are missing out because I am finally ready with a lot of Discord value. Make sure to join the Discord. Link is pinned in the chat. Thanks, guys, for leaving a like. I know it's not a lot of work, but I really appreciate it if you do, because yeah, there's no reason not to leave a like. Free value, always appreciated. Now, obviously, again, guys, the dollar index overall, I mean, I don't really need to explain it. I think it's clear. Sell, boom, sell, boom, sell, boom, sell, boom, sell, boom. Like the fractal lows, fractal low, fractal low, fractal low, fractal low, and now fractal low. They keep being respected, so it makes sense that the market is pushing up high because the overall order flow is holding. So you don't want to be selling here. You want to be selling once the current fractal low breaks. So let's say we now push into this supply zone and then the fractal low breaks. Yeah, then I'll be happy to get into a short on the very first pullback, and I'll be looking to short the dollar, take out this ascending liquidity. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment. So I still see potential for the dollar index to push up higher as long as that holds. So dollar up means Euro USD for now still down, and yeah, you can see that is happening. So yeah, and GBPUSD, yeah, GBPUSD is selling off nicely. So yeah, GU is going to hit this demand zone soon, it seems. So let's keep an eye on that. For the rest, the yen is still weak. NZD Swiss, NZD USD. So NZD USD, like NZD USD is interesting to monitor, because USD is currently trading in discount prices after this break of structure here. Tonight we have interest rate decisions in New Zealand, so that is going to cause a big move tonight potentially if there's anything changing. So let's keep an eye on what happens once the current fractal low goes, because then this here will be your fractal high, and then maybe we could look to start buying again on USD, but it will depend on what the overall fundamentals give us and provide us with. In the meantime, gold, is it moving or not? I'm not sure why the gold chart not loading. Gold not really moving yet. Swiss yen remains a buy like every single day. It's mad, man. This is like the easiest buy. This is crypto chart, man. Swiss yen is the perfect definition of a crypto chart. Crypto not moving. GJ, I'm looking for a sell soon. I think once we take 199810, I'll be looking to sell off GJ. I'm not going to just press the sell button, but obviously I'll wait for some confirmation. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. I'll be looking for sells on GJ soon. Yeah, I'll be looking for sells on GJ soon. I don't really think I need to break it down too much. Very simply said, we're just trading within this range. We're trading at a premium of the range. So I want to look for sells down. And the highest probability sell will come once we take out that swing high. So yeah, that's that. What do you think of GCAD longs? No, I'm not going to take GCAD longs myself. It's too bearish, man. Too bearish. The pound is also definitely not strong at the moment, so I'll be waiting for some more confirmation. As a day trader, which lower time frame would you trust to trade a reversal against a trend, and why? It depends on what time frame you're entering and what time frame you're analyzing. Like if you trade a lower time frame, let's say you trade the 15-minute time frame, then you'll want to see like a 1 hour confirmation for your reversal. So you'll want like a 4-hour demand zone. In that 4-hour demand zone, you want the 1 hour fractal confirmation, and then you enter on the 15-minute time frame, for example. So yeah, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I think another valuable session with a lot of trade breakdowns and a lot of charts analyzed. Main pair and main pick for today obviously have been GBPUSD sells, and I'm looking for gold buys. GU has already moved, but gold buys could still be incoming, so let's keep an eye on those gold buys within the Discord community. Yeah, make sure to be active and to keep an eye on all the updates. I'll be posting some more frequent updates inside Discord now that I'm back in Europe or back in the Netherlands. There's also a question if I can make a scalp trading video on how to scalp using the TTA strategy and how to pass my prop from challenge. Well, I have inspiration for 2 new videos, so those will be coming up on the channel. Thursday there's going to be another live stream. Guys, before you leave, don't forget to leave a like. Thursday is when the next live stream will be. I'm going to get back to work. I have so much reading to do because so much has been happening and it's hard to stay on top, but you know what they say. I don't know what they say. I was going to try and come up with some kind of like nice anecdote or metaphor, but I don't know. I don't know one. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Wish you a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening from wherever you are in the world. And again, thank you for joining. Cheers, guys.